And welcome back to the Nutrimedical Report, and we are here with Karen. Karen, we have some amazing things to talk about in terms of our wellness. And I get, kinds of interesting calls. I get people that have cancer, have liver disease. I have a gentleman who is, I'll mention his first name, is very popular for many years, Christian broadcaster out of Texas, with a very prominent radio show. And he's got diabetes and developed a liver problem. Because of his diabetes and his age is in his 70s, he didn't qualify for a liver transplant, which you don't want to rush into, because if you have to be on transplant rejection drugs for the rest of your days, however long or short those might be, and you can also have a rejection of the liver, which can cause massive pain, suffering before you die and go to the other side. So what I'm also giving an alternative to this gentleman, and this is, by the way, for people with cancer as well and other conditions, is when you're trying to regenerate your tissues and improve your immune system to fight the cancer, Mountain Red Velvet is one of the components, believe it or not. And the reason is, what we're going to do with this gentleman, I'm going to use the power of ones. So we want him to get a mild hyperbaric chamber, but the most important are Nutrimeds, and the top of that list is our protocols for tissue regeneration. Mountain Red Velvet, microdose growth hormone, Collagen Max, the phospholipids, Nutrifos and Neurogen, things to turn off the liver inflammation, cell defense, and Inflamex. Fatty acids, Omega Supreme, krill, Omega Supreme, etc. Mountain Red Velvet is one of the important components, not only to regenerate tissue, but to even fight cancer. We use it along with our cancer nutraceuticals and our NutriDefense, because the key thing is you have to have an intact immune system. Most of the conventional paint by number chemotherapy and radiation, including even the new proton therapy that they use, they call it the surgical proton knife. These cause very serious damage to surrounding tissues. The proton knife is a little bit less damaging to the surrounding tissues, but it's still horrendous. And I tell people, if you want to rebuild your immune system, Mountain Red Velvet is one of the components. If you want to rebuild an organ, you've got to have all those building blocks. And we're working on this new license to bring a DR cap version in for under Nutrimeds, which I call is, you know when you order something really fancy and you want to have really good service to, not only take it out of the truck carefully so nothing gets bumped or scratched, and it's set up by a professional technician, they show you how to use it, and they place it very carefully so you don't scratch your walls or your floor. It's called white glove service. Well, that's what we want to do with DR caps. We want those molecules that are amazing and the very top quality Mountain Red Velvet in the world, which is yours, Mountain Red Velvet, yes, delivered by white glove service to your cells. And that'll be the DR cap, because when you deliver it to the terminal small bowel, the body gets those fragile molecules converted to a micelle and then delivers them to your organs, your brain, your kidneys, your heart, your liver. And if you're doing other things, I said the power ones: oxygen, Nutrimeds, energetic scalar technology like micropulse, lumen photon, and the X Vitalizer. The X Vitalizer now can also, and Sonic can be hooked up to our 8D LRIS by a technology that allows us to have direct what I call morphogenic field therapy, where we could actually put a field around you. And then stem cell therapy, we have the most advanced, and I've looked at different technologies, whether it's taking fat cells, stem cells, and so on. The most advanced, believe it or not, other than your own bone marrow, is to take vigorous young stem cells in stem cell lines. And Nutrimedical out of San Diego has a clinic called the Santa Clarita Clinic in Tijuana, Mexico. And other than the one in Astana, in Astana, which is the capital of the amazing city for Kazakhstan, the super republic with tremendous amounts of oil there. That's why it's so wealthy. This city is like visiting the future. If you want to visit Star Trek City, go visit Astana. And there are only 2 clinics in the world, and the most advanced one, believe it or not, is the Santa Clarita Clinic that uses the Nutrimedical stem cells. There are studies going on in America, but you can just contact them and they will set you up. So the one for cancer is the ISELS, ISSELS clinic in Tijuana. There's other ones, but that's the one I think is the most appropriate for people with cancer. For this gentleman with his liver, he needs to have mild hyperbarics, Nutrimeds, a full line of support, including Mountain Red Velvet. He's going to need to have scalar technology, including microdose for stem cell and lumen photon, and or X Vitalizer with an 8D LRIS to create a morphogenic field to regenerate his liver function. And we have to reverse his diabetes, his underlying inflammatory changes. And then finally, stem cells. But even the stem cells don't work if you don't have the soil prepared. In fact, the best soil tenderizer and preparer for stem cells in the world is Mountain Red Velvet. I say, if you want to photocopy yourself into the future, decades from now, not aging hardly at all. And people looking at you say, no, you're not 90. Come on, you're no later than 35. You've got to be kidding. You're really your son or grandson coming to the school reunion party after 60 years. Because everybody else is pretty well dead except a few of us. But you look too good to be 35. No, you're not 90. And you'll hear these stories, people, in the future when you start taking nutraceuticals now. 10, 20 years from now, you go visit your brothers and sisters or their children, and you'll start looking younger than their children, and you'll realize you did something right. And that's what's important. People don't realize the changes are gradual, they're dramatic, and over a period of years, they're amazing. So tell us what you've seen so far. Can you tell us, Karen? Oh, I guess we have Karen dropping from her signal from... Karen, you're back, are you? I can't hear you. So we'll try to reconnect with Karen and see... So the situation is with our gentleman with the liver failure, we're going to combine a combination of technologies. The same thing goes to support the body's healing from cancer. Cancer is not, by the way, a mutant cell. Cancer is a stressed cell that's misbehaving. That misbehaving cell, we can convince it to behave normally with things like ellagic acid, malignant block, high-dose power C, and full vitamin K2. We can strip off the capsule of its hiding, which is fibronectin with seroflozyme and Inflamex. We can stimulate the DNA to behave normally also with cell defense and topically with curcumin, which can even treat skin cancers. And we can kill off any stealth pathogens that may be a cofactor causing the cells to misbehave, which can be stealth intracellular mycobacteria, viruses, etc., with our major antipathogenics. Nutriodine, which we use in our clinics in India for cancer and the untouchables. For silver 100, the only ionic silver in the world, hundreds of times stronger than anybody else's silver. So when you hear Dr. Horowitz or anybody else saying they have a better silver, they're fools. They do not understand the science, the biochemistry, the biophysics. They are trying to scamtastically tell you things which are not true. The fact is, in the ionic states, the only state is the ionic state when it's capable to stimulate stem cells and kill pathogens, and if it's not in a special complex that maintains it so it gets across the cell membrane to the target tissue, it can, even when it's turned to an ionic complex, ion, it is attached to proteins or attaches to halides and becomes chemically inactivated. And then you want the allicin med, and ours is far more powerful than even Peter Josling's Alamed. We still carry it, Alamed and Alamax, because equivalent power per milligram, but for allicin med, you're getting 200 milligrams more now. We want to impress on you out there that we rely on your orders to maintain this show and this information coming to you. We rely on your orders when we provide, literally, I got, believe it or not, this week, and I have 187 emails left to do, and they're increasing even as I speak. And when we provide this advice, which I'm doing, by the way, free, if you had to pay for the time to actually ask for a consult, it would be $600 an hour, and I don't charge a cent. So I expect loyalty. I expect you to order. I expect you to listen and learn. And if you have questions, as I say, there's no such thing as a stupid question. Question, whether you're a health provider or a grandmother or a person just trying to get your health back after, number one, trying to go off on your own on the internet, I call it the sewer net, and trying to figure it out yourself, or listening to your ignorant doctors that don't know what they're doing. And even if you get a doctor that's in one of these academies, they're just starting. You have to understand, when people say, Dr. Deagle, refer to me a doctor that does just like you do in my part of the country, you have to understand they're at grade 1 and I'm like 10 PhDs ahead of them. So even if you see a local doctor that's in the Academy of Environmental Medicine or Anti-Aging Medicine, they're just starting. I'm their professor. Okay, so you'll still need a consult to try to know what to do with complex cases. And I can help them. But we need your loyalty, and we need you to order to support what we're doing here at Nutrimedical. Do it now. Call 800-888-212-8871 or do it online. 888-212-8871. We will be back in just a moment, and hopefully we'll get back, Karen, for a second.
On the average, Americans work between 45...
We are joined by Dr. Bob Dennis. The amazing new micropulse. We talked about this in the first hour. People ask the question, what's the difference between the micropulse and what we had a year or so ago called the Somapulse? Well, how about more advanced and $1,000 cheaper? And now with a $30 special bonus that you get if you go use a code when you go through our link for affiliates, Dr. Deagle, Dr. Deagle, you're going to save $30. So it's under $400 for an amazing stem cell regenerative pain relieving machine that you can slap on any area of your body that's sore and needs to be healed or regenerated. And when you have the right signal and you take our Nutrimeds, Collagen Max, Mountain Red Velvet, Joint Performance Tendon Mender, Phospholipids, Nutrifos, Neurogen, you're going to heal. So I know there's a number of people, because we're tracking it, a number of people have, quote, gone through the link and actually gone over to your site. You need to make a decision of, am I going to listen to Dr. Deagle's advice and Dr. Bob Dennis's research for 25 years, and am I going to heal my body and turn off my pain and not let the surgeons get their paws on me or take non-steroidal anti-inflammatories or dangerous steroids or other drugs, disease-modifying drugs? Am I going to decide to heal? And the only thing they need, basically, besides your device may be some 9-volt rechargeable batteries and the determination that they want to take control of their life and their health. So there's a lot of people that have actually, been searching over there. Make that decision today. Don't dawdle. This is your body that's talking to you, saying, through the voice of Dr. Deagle, your body's saying, listen to Dr. Deagle and Dr. Dennis. They know what they're talking about. They want you to heal. Make that decision. Go back through the link, use that special, and get this amazing device that's now $1,000 off. You have to understand that this is because of technology. It's not because it's inferior or it's so cheap now. It's like, well, can this really work? Yes. You have got a miracle deal here. Under $400. This device 5 years ago would be $5,000, and you'd be choking and say, well, I don't know if I can afford it, dear. Should we spend the $5,000 for it? Guess what? $400 less, less than $400. This is a miracle. Dr. Bob, tell us about the technology and how much this can help people with their pain and regeneration.
Well, we've had many people using it now, thousands of people using it, and we've never had a single return. We haven't had anybody say it didn't work, and nobody's asked for their money back. So that tells you a lot there. But what we do get a great deal of, are referrals from people and second or third purchases from the same person. So,
in other words, again, like a gift for somebody else. They'll buy one for their mother, their cousin,
That's exactly what happens. In fact, I get emails every day from people asking me various questions, and very frequently what they'll say is, hey, I used this on my lower back, and it worked great for me. And I got an email from a person this morning saying, hey, my mother fell down, broke her hip. Should I use it for that? And the main thing that, I need to emphasize is that this technology was really optimized for very serious orthopedic injuries and non-healing orthopedic, idiopathic, chronic pain. That's what it's really optimized for. Many people use it for different things, and it's hard for me to say specifically, does it help them or not, for some of the things that people use it for, because, people buy stuff and they use it, as they say, from the FDA off-label, which means for a purpose other than that for which it's authorized. People do that all the time because there just aren't enough effective things out there. Now, our device is not FDA approved for any specific medical claim. It is still a device that we're developing. As soon as you get a medical device approved, you can't change it. You can't innovate. It can't be better. If it were FDA approved, if it was $5,000 5 years ago, it'd still be $5,000 now, and it wouldn't be any better. Compare it with what we have now. 5 years ago, just like computers 5-10 years ago, they were nothing compared to what you can get now, and that's because the technology is advancing forward. So that's what we've got. It works better. It's more efficient. It's more reliable. It's smaller. Uses less power. Some of the improvements that we have are things that we took out of it. For example, I do experiments all the time to see what parts of the signal have a biological effect. And if part of the signal has no biological effect, I remove it from the device. Every time I remove those non-effective signals, that's less electromagnetic energy that you're subjecting your body to. And since I started doing this research, do you know how much of that energy I've removed? 99.8%. 99.8%. So when you buy one of these great big TEMF devices, a lot of what they advertise is, oh, we have more power, we have more this, we have more that. That is not what you want.
Right.
It's inelegant, it's inefficient. Our device is under constant research and development, constant improvement. You buy our device, and you're a member of the MicroPulse family for as long as you want to be. We constantly give people, good deals for new, great deals you can't get anywhere else unless you've already bought one of our devices for the newest, latest, best technologies. We work with our customers to make sure that things work for them. We're not just one of these companies, you buy it and then we forget about you. So that's not how we work. And I think when you combine this technology with the right substance, with the right stuff, the building blocks that your body needs, I don't think there's anything better out there.
No, it really is amazing. And I use the analogy of what I call the power of ones. Oxygen, hyperbaric oxygen, with or without our ozone and our, which, by the way, we have a newer ozone machine. It's a fraction of the cost of the whole Go Healthy Next machine, which we'll have up in a matter of days. We have Nutrimeds, the very best nutraceuticals on earth. Don't go elsewhere. This is the only place if you want to get well. Then you need a right signal. And I tell people the best and simplest devices are the MicroPulse and the Lumen Photon. Don't get these big, bulky machines. Even the most advanced frequency one was a machine we had from Germany. The larger machines are extremely expensive, $20,000 to $25,000, $30,000. They're for clinics, and to be honest with you, they're inelegant. They don't actually give the right, what I call signal pairing down to the ideal signal, so there's not signaling tissues that you don't want to, or actually putting stress on tissue. Remember, every electromagnetic signal is actually in training the tissue to actually do this. So it's really important to understand that you need the right substance and you need the right signal. So that's how important this is.
Absolutely. Well, I can tell you an interesting anecdote that relates to these larger machines, and I can't name the manufacturer, and you'll know why when I tell you, what I'm about to tell you. But I frequently get called. I frequently get called by people who manufacture these larger machines. I get contacted from them all the time, and I try to maintain an amicable relationship with them because we don't really compete in the same market, right? We're selling machines for as inexpensively as we can. Under $400 with this deal. These guys are selling $20,000, $30,000 machines or more, so we don't see each other as competitors. I know two manufacturers that actually own my device and use it on themselves when they need to heal, rather than their own $30,000 machine that they manufacture, and that's a fact.
Exactly. Wow, that's amazing. Excellent. Go to the site. Don't just be a looky-loo. Get your MicroPulse, but you have to have the right Nutrimeds in you or it doesn't work optimally. And welcome back to the program. We have, of course, Chris Jackson. Chris, we have, of course, our hyperlink directly to the Europlate, which is an amazing price. I mean, actually, I'm boggled. When we started, I started going to health conferences over the last, say, decade or so. The PowerPlate was a big one, and it was anywhere between $7,000 and about $20,000. And it was a pretty good machine. There are other devices that are out there that, on average, $5,000 to $7,000 to be equivalent to the Europlate, which is now $1,299, and it's modular, and you have a 3-year warranty, and you'll send out the modular part, no questions asked if anything breaks, which it doesn't. The motor literally has a lifetime warranty. I tell people no matter what exercise you do, whether you're a golfer, a power lifter, a runner, a dancer, if you're on stage, like a lot of Hollywood stars, they use basically this to prevent not only falls and injuries on the stage, but also to prevent them from getting fatigue, to prevent injuries to joints because it maintains proprioception and forces around your joints when you're walking and dancing and doing other things. It prevents falls, and seniors, 3 10-minute sessions in 1 month will cut falls by 80%. So every senior home, every high school, every university fitness room, whether it's for real big football players or basketball, they should have a vibrational platform, and many now do. Most of the chiropractic offices, a lot of the rehab doctor offices have them. Most of the fitness clinics are now getting vibration. And this machine is built to take a lot of punishment. So it's not just a home machine to use once in a while. It actually is built so solidly. A lot of doctors and chiropractors and naturopaths and physiatrists have them in their offices because they're just so sturdy. So $1,299 and free shipping and modular and 3-year warranty. couldn't get a better deal, could they?
No, it's, because we're the manufacturer, we back our machines 100%. We provide a lifetime motor warranty. If anything ever does go wrong with it, it's all modular and very easy to fix. With FedEx, you get a new part, take you 2 minutes, and it's back on. We spent a lot of time engineering and designing the machine to not only make it really effective, but to make it really user-friendly and to have basically zero maintenance. And that's why people love it. It's really easy to use. It's not a complicated machine with a whole bunch of buttons. We've really simplified it without hurting any of the results you get from it. There's some of these machines out there you pay a lot of money for, have a lot of functions on it that are really just bells and whistles that don't do anything for you. So we kept it nice and simple.
Yeah, and tell us some of the benefits, research benefits that we've talked about the last few years. Can you summarize? Because I like people to hear a different voice rather than mine saying, it does this, this, and this for you, and then I'll kind of reflect that afterwards. But tell us what benefits people get when they use vibrational exercise equipment like this on 10 or 20 minutes a day. How it's going to change their weight, their bone density, their connective tissues, their balance, their pain control, the microchiropractic to pop their joints back into place, better sleep, better exercise, less injuries, changing your set point so you defend a lower weight. What I try to do is get 10 minutes at least twice a day or 20 minutes straight through a minimum of exercise every day on my vibrational platform. It makes an amazing difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, and the people that use it are, from everyday people up to professional athletes and Olympic athletes. For the average person, to tone your body, build muscle, burn fat, lose belly fat, and there's nothing better. You can do 60 minutes of cardio, and it will not be as effective as 15 minutes of vibration, and that's been proven time and time again. And there's over 1,500 university studies been done around the world on vibration exercise and the incredible effects it has on your body. Especially in conjunction with other exercise. We don't tell people not to do other exercise, but it's very, very effective, especially for the weight loss.
Now, one of the things that I think people should go, and I'm going to go through head to toe, the first thing it does is it stimulates the neurological signals of proprioception or position set. So it makes your body have better motor control of the muscle firing patterns, so you're less likely to get injured. It stimulates the Golgi tendon apparatus in your ligaments and compresses the piezoelectric crystals of your bones, so it increases bone density. So when we give people a protocol and they have a DEXA bone scan, and it says they have a lumbar 4 vertebrae body that's weak, or the right surgical hip of their hip that's weak on a bone density analysis, and they have a deoxypyridinium and pyridinoline subunit collagen in their urine at Genova Metametrics lab, when we put a protocol together, we tell them, you must take our Nutrimeds, Bone Generator, Mycel D3, Myco D2, full vitamin K2, but then you also want to get VibraSlim to compress the crystals, and you can take somebody that's even very fragile, that otherwise if you put them through typical, let's say weighted exercise, there's a danger that they could get compression fracture of their vertebral body or get a broken hip. But you could even prop them up if you have a 90-year-old that has weak bones, and if you can even just stand them there, they're going to get benefits. That's what's amazing. And then you start getting to do resistance bands, like the resistance bands that come with the machine, or we get a body elastic bands, or get a band that you can put through a ceiling mount. What I use an athletic mount that's used for gymnasts that actually want to do gymnastic kind of moves on a gymnastic bar on the ceiling. And you can use that plus the other bar things. And then you can put over the joint itself, or the vertebral body, the micropulse, which, by the way, is under $400, and Lumen Photon, and, of course, other technology is the X Vitalizer with the 8D-LRS. So if you have an 8D-LRS, we can actually hook it up for you to set up a morphogenic field. The VibraSlim, though, in terms of just straight costs, along with the Micropulse and Lumen Photon, if you're trying to regenerate your bones and ligaments and connective tissues, this is a combination technology you want. You want our Nutrimeds, you want VibraSlim, you want Micropulse and Lumen Photon. Then you're going to regenerate. And you don't just stay the same or slow the deterioration. VibraSlim will actually help you rebuild bone, connective tissue, ligaments. It actually stimulates the collagen, the elastin, and the bone density, because 42% is dry bone. The weight of bone actually is collagen, and these collagen subunits actually hold the bone matrix together. set points change.
One of the things too on the regeneration thing is, Vibrator X has been proven to drastically raise the HGH levels in the body, and
yes.
That's one of the reasons it gets you toned so fast and melts fat off of you, because the HGH, it's natural HGH in your body. As you know, like people pay $1,000 a month to go get the synthetic HGH, the anti-aging miracle. With the vibration exercise, it does it naturally, and it's a real HGH.
Yeah, it's your own HGH. Actually, I tell you what I tell people to do: take our microdose, which is actual HGH, not synthetic, not just a releaser. This is not just a releaser. It's a homeopathic 100 nanogram per spray. Take 5 sprays before you exercise, morning and bedtime of our microdose. Then get on the VibraSlim, and you're massively going to increase it, especially if you add Supernox. Supernox, microdose, VibraSlim. Amazing stimulation of growth hormone release. Right, and then the additional growth hormones and Mountain Red Velvet. Put it under your tongue, a capsule 4 times a day, and then of course we're going to soon have the DR cap that'll deliver what I call white glove delivery to your terminal small bowel, so your body will make a micelle version of these very delicate molecules that otherwise would be destroyed by the phalanx that coming through your digestive enzymes of your stomach and your upper small bowel, your digestive enzymes. So the VibraSlim is an integral part of staying well. It really is. I mean, I call it vitamin G for gravity. That's a good term, eh? Take your vitamin G. How do I do that? You don't swallow it, you stand on it. Vitamin G. Pretty good term, hey? Yeah, it does explain it, too. Vitamin G, you like that, eh? I know you're marketing this all the time, so you can use that term when you talk to other people. So some of the things I think that people should realize is that when you're inactive, you're just sitting around, and you're in an office space and you have a bunch of cubicles right by the water cooler in the bathroom door. They should have one of these machines outside, so someone can stand on, not 10 minutes, maybe they only got 2 minutes. They got a 10-minute bathroom break. 5 minutes is in the bathroom, using it, washing their hands. 2 minutes is standing on the VibraSlim, and the rest is heading back with your Sports Energy Light drink to your desk. Don't get a coffee or a tea. Get the Sports Energy Light drink. It's up now. We're selling it like hotcakes. People love it. They're going to go crazy over this. And I usually during the day recommend a scoop or report. Major announcement to make. When we put our NutriComplete on a sale clearance, we had so many orders. It's insane. So what we've decided to do is we are making a brand new batch. It's available right now. If you order, that batch will be ready in a couple of days. So by Monday. Yeah, and so our big announcement is we are keeping NutriComplete. We have a brand new batch. If you order it, we'll have regular amounts and sale batches if you buy 3 or 6. NutriComplete is staying, and it, of course, is the best red greens. The goji berry in it is the second most powerful antioxidant after our polyphenol in my NutriDefense, and the astaxanthin in our Omega Supreme krill, which, by the way, is the only krill oil on the planet that has actual astaxanthin. All the others destroyed because they have high temperature processing. So don't go elsewhere. Don't get Youngevity or any other vitamins from GNC or online at Amazon thinking you're going to get something that's going to be biologically and metabolically effective. And you need the advice to know how to take it and how to adjust it based on your wellness and medical conditions. And you want to minimize the amount of drugs you're taking. If you're taking drugs, you need to realize 80% of drugs are dangerous in all conditions, and only 20% of drugs are actually justifiable in some conditions. And then if they always induce deficiencies or cause metabolic imbalance or other blocks, which you have to overcome with nutraceuticals. So welcome back to the program, Dave Mitchell. Dave is, of course, our miracle genius broker and realtor. He's actually a broker here in Southern California, not just a realtor. And he is also a prepper expert. If you're trying to get a property, and by the way, Dave talked to me about this, and you're trying to get a property sold in other parts of the country or even in other countries and you want to move somewhere, he can help make arrangements even for the purchase of properties in even foreign countries. Yeah, he's pretty clever in how to do a lot of real estate things. He also has, I think, 5 properties that he's told me about last week that he's got here in Southern California that have wells. They're ideal for growing food, they're ideal for defense, and they're ideal for multifamily dwellings. If you wanted to put a, quote, a small community on there, it's pretty well perfect because you're far enough south, you're south of Fukushima Daiichi, you're on the west coast, so you're not downwind of nuclear reactors. You're sitting in an area you can grow food year-round in a benign climate, and you're in a pleasant place with pleasant people around. Californians are pretty darn nice. And so, Dave, tell us all about what your latest ideas are about prepping and real estate and how you can help people not only here come to the best state in the United States, California, I think, although there's lots of other great states. I've lived there a lot of places. And tell us about how you can help people in foreign countries and your prepper, I call some of your prepper ideas, which you've explained a few good ones, like, for example, having your well set up so it has, even if you lose power, you've got gravity in your well with a storage tank which is above your home or your property, so that way, no matter what happens, you're going to have water. Even if you have a CME, you're going to have gravity water coming down to your home.
Well, I just listed 2 more properties since I was last on. That
wow, tell us about them.
Part of a group of 3. They're 3 miles down a dirt road at the very end, surrounded by Bureau of Land Management property. And so actually right in there I have about 10 properties, potentially.
Wow.
There's a high security gate that is about the best gate you can get, to keep people out that you wouldn't want there. And it has,
right.
But it's off the grid. It has a generator, has a propane generator. I mentioned that one property with the propane generator. The other 2 are vacant, but somebody could tie them together if they had multiple parties that were interested in a retreat property.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Has high groundwater, has a dug well, gravity flow water. It's a pretty good setup.
Very good, very good. Now, when you're trying to get a prepper, yeah, go ahead.
It doesn't have any fruit trees right now, but there's ways to get around that.
Right.
Heck, just chickens. You could practically live off chicken eggs alone. And
right.
grow some
the key thing is
and be in pretty good shape.
Yeah, and of course the climate's benign enough you could grow the food outside if you put some, wire mesh around so the critters won't eat it all. Because the climate is literally perfect here for growing. That's why 80% of the veggies in the United States actually come from California. And California, by the way, is far enough south that we are not getting the dangerous damage that's caused by the Fukushima Daiichi. It's primarily hitting the ocean, and it hit the ocean current to Kuroshio, hits British Columbia and Washington State. And most of it actually is airborne. It's at 26 to 30,000 feet, heading over the Rocky Mountains and heading over toward the Midwest, and then dives, go down in the Midwest and heads up to the Northeast. So a lot of people think, well, your airborne pollution's hitting it. No, it's not hitting us. What's hitting us is the northern Pacific, which is hitting the Georgia Strait area of British Columbia, and not even Alaska. We're checking to see if we have any real evidence that most of the radiation's hitting there. There's some, but most of it actually is hitting the Georgia Strait area of British Columbia, and we can stop it, actually. People have to understand this. The death and destruction that we announced in the first hour, we can stop this pretty quickly, and the oceans will bounce back. It's amazing how the organisms will sequester the radiation. So I tell people, being on the West Coast and not downwind of a nuclear reactor, for example, you don't want to be downwind of reactors in Arizona or New Madrid Fault System or even on the East Coast. There's an awful lot of nuclear reactors down there near along the whole entire eastern seaboard of the United States. And for prepping, you had some great ideas. When people want to contact you, you can make special deals so they can get a piece of property. A lot of them have homes on them. They can then later add, say, a turtle tuff shelter. If they want to get a turtle tuff shelter, contact me. We'll get a special deal for you through our gentleman up in Oregon that makes them. That's my number one recommendation for a property. The other is to get a fifth wheel and haul it out there so you can get a good quality fifth wheel, maybe in second hand, and then to have a manufactured home. And you can even purchase manufactured homes elsewhere because there's much more solid than a regular built home too, and you can have it hauled out by trailers and have it drop on the property. So those are real good ways of starting off if you don't have a home on the property, or if you want to put multiple homes and build a, quote, a prepper community. I like the turtle tuff shelters because they'll withstand winds that a normal building won't. And then as far as power goes, I recommend a propane-styled generator. Eventually we're going to have ability to store hydrogen, because I really believe what we're going to do is have hydrogen generation and compression. We talked about this the other day with Uppsala University, either solar hydrogen, and instead of a propane tank, you'll have a hydrogen tank that'll be absorbing the hydrogen, generating your power and generating heat. And that's where I think things are going. Solar hydrogen is going to be the thing of the future in terms of alternative energy, whether it's a fuel cell or these other technologies. But right now, propane and Generac generator, and then have backup solar power panels. Any ideas you have to help people along with their prepping?
Well, one thing is if people are in any state in the union, if they want to find property, I can go direct to owners. Like, for instance, say they want to find some property down some beaten road, near your, BLM land or Forest Service.
Oh, really? So you see, I know you're clever. You can actually, so they say they want to move somewhere else in Texas, or they want to move to a different part of the country, or even another country. You can assist them with working with other brokers internationally and actually get them a piece of land, whether it's in Patagonia or Canada or somewhere else. You can assist them in doing that as well. That's pretty remarkable. I don't think there's many realtor brokers that can do that, Dave. I think you're pretty unique.
Well, it's a little more difficult, obviously, finding something out of the country. But on a referral basis, I could find the property and then turn it over to a local realtor because I'm not licensed in that state. And then
you can provide that service because you're going to get a referral fee for doing that. I tell people the primary thing, I personally want to prep in America because I know they were like-minded, constitutional-based, and armed to the teeth Americans that believe in the Constitution, that believe in our culture, and I want to prep here in America. I don't want to prep outside of the country, and I want to keep the United States and its territorial boundaries intact, and I want the people here to maintain the American culture. So, I'm not, let's put it this way, I'm not into fleeing. I'm into using common sense to get not only prep my place where I am in rural California, and prep for a bigger community, which we're going to work on, so that we can get a piece of property when it's available and start building a if you want to call it a refuge city, like it says in the book of Genesis, for those people who want to get away from the big mess when, as they say, the Shemitah hits the fan. The end of the Shemitah cycle is about to come this fall with the last of a tetrad of blood moon. So prep at home, just store your water bottles, get a dehydrator for the extra batch of your meals, and contact Dave. And his number to get a hold of Dave is 619-990-6050, 619-990-6050. Link is directly on our affiliates page. Check out